Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the shop. Today, I'm going to try a couple more things to see if we can get this 2013 Mitsubishi Fuso to start. And I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been leaving comments in the videos on things to try. I am slowly working my way through all of them if I haven't done them already. So today, we're going to go with a couple more suggestions. Since last time we did see evidence of fuel coming out of the first 3 injectors, it makes sense to me that somehow we are able to get fuel pressure. So if we are getting fuel pressure, maybe not all the time, what else can stop this engine from firing? So here's thought number 1. If we are getting fuel and we do have compression, maybe we don't have any air. Or maybe the computer thinks we don't have any air. It is possible that some animal has gone in and packed my air intake full of debris, and therefore the engine just doesn't have any air. And normally I wouldn't think this is something that would happen, but since this cab does spend a lot of time up, this is completely open. And that means an animal like a squirrel or a mouse who do get into my shop from time to time could have gone in here and packed this full of nuts, insulation, bits of plastic bag, and it's an easy thing to rule out. The first and easiest spot to confirm this is to just take the bottom off, and nothing in there so far, and the filter seems to be intact, but let's look a little bit downstream. The next easiest spot is going to be to pull this rubber elbow off, and if I pull this off, I can basically try to start the engine with everything upstream of here removed from the system. Well, there was nothing in there, but it's not exactly clean inside. I think I'll be giving this a bit of a clean before I put it back together. So technically, now with this pipe removed, if I crank the engine and there's anything blocking it upstream of here, the problem should be gone and the engine should start. Now, keeping in mind, I've also removed the mass airflow sensors from the system and the computer might not like that. It should still fire. I don't think it's going to happen. But that said, the only way to know for sure is to rule all of these things out. So let's give it a try. My fuel pump running, I can hear fuel, don't appear to have any leaks anywhere. Let's call this attempt number, 856. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we can safely say this is not an issue with air coming in. So if we believe that we have air, and we know sometimes at least we have fuel, and based on the way that the fuel vapor was coming up and away from the cylinders last time, I'm pretty sure we have compression. What if they're not in time? If only there was an easy way to check all the timing. Well, maybe there is. You may recall from a couple videos back where I was replacing the fuel pump that we can pull the timing through the camshaft position sensor. And this camshaft position sensor lines up with a hole in the sprocket, and the hole in the sprocket should line up with the notch in the cam if we remove this plug, and same for the other cam on this plug. Now, if those 2 notches line up with the hole in the gear, and we remove injector number 1 and find that the cylinder is at top dead center, then we have the correct timing. Before we get to pulling the number 1 injector for the 400th time, I'm going to pull the 2 plugs on the cams, which are a 6mm Allen key drive, and I'm going to pull the camshaft position sensor and see if those line up. As I'm sure you can imagine, trying to turn this engine over while looking through these holes is not easy. I don't know how far I'm going to have to go with rotation, but I know if I'm not on a part of the compression stroke previously, no, that's just slipping. I got lucky before and I was just able to turn the fan, but that's not doing anything. There's some things you just can't do by yourself and you need to call for backup. With Krista's eyes watching from above, I can rotate the crank from below.
There's not enough room between the harmonic balancer and the fan to fit a socket, adapter, and ratchet, so I'm turning the engine over using the tool that I made that wedges itself inside the harmonic balancer and allows me to fit a pry bar on it to turn the engine. It's not exactly easy, but it's easier than getting out from under the truck to check after every rotation.
Stop there.
Okay.
Go just a tiny bit. Tiny bit more. Okay, tiny bit more. That might be.
Okay, can you see the other one? Are they both there?
You're both there. You might want to go a sliver more.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
There.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we learn after all that struggle of turning the engine by hand? Well, it looks like, it's a little bit hard to see on camera, but our intake and exhaust and cam position sensor timing, again a little bit hard to see there, but there's the slot, are all lined up properly. Technically, that's a good thing. That's not something that I want to mess with. So we know the cams are in time with each other and the cams are both in time with the sprocket, but is the top of the engine in time with the bottom? Let's pull injector number 1 and see if we can determine that it's at top dead center. Well, this may seem like a little bit of a strange way to do this. For me, it works because I have 2 engines here. So I can take this piece of TIG rod, drop it down through the injector hole, and hit the top of the piston. Now what I can do is mark how far in this rod is, and then go over to my second engine, which I know is at top dead center, and verify that it's the same height.
By placing a small straight edge across the top of the engine, I can get a consistent and easy to access marking point.
I think that confirms we have the correct timing.
With all that confirmed, I can put the injector and fuel lines, cam sensor, and timing plugs back together.
So if we have timing, and we have compression, and we don't have a restriction on the air, really the only thing left is we're not actually getting fuel. So maybe the spray of fuel is only happening when we don't have compression, because that's where we saw the fuel coming out. But what can cause that to happen? Well, I would suspect it could be one of 2 things. If the engine ECU has a minimum RPM before it will fire the injectors, and the engine's not turning fast enough, it's just not going to fire the injectors. When we remove the compression by loosening the injectors, the engine can spin just a little bit faster because it's not fighting the compression, and then the injectors fire. Or on the flip side of that, the engine isn't turning fast enough because it doesn't have enough power to turn that fast. The voltage is dropped down, and when the voltage is dropped, the ECU doesn't fire the injectors. I'm really hesitant to do this next one. I don't like this idea, but I'm gonna give it a try. I really don't like this stuff, but I think I have some out here. This old machine really doesn't like starting. Uh-oh. Well, I thought I had some starter fluid out in this thing, but I guess that's how much I really don't like using it, is I don't even use it in that. Don't think I have any anywhere in here either. Well, I thought I had a can of it. If you enjoy the content on this channel, this video, or any of the other ones that I posted, you want to help support this channel and help it grow, hit that like button every single time. If you can, share the video to someone you think it might help. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. It's really appreciated and it really helps this channel grow. If you want to go to the next step, take a look in the video description at any of the links that I've posted, and you can hit that QR code over in the corner or the link in the video description and buy me a coffee. Thanks. Once again, this is going to need 2 people.
Okay. Okay.
So now what? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.